This is a community of 60 people living in Nine-Chun. When it snows, the grass dies. There's no longer anything to eat. Deep in the Arctic, where the cold cuts like a blade and the land itself feels alive, an ancient warning has echoed for centuries. The last defenders of this frozen world, tribes who have survived where no one else could, are vanishing. And those who remain refuse to speak of why. They whisper of shadows that move without bodies, of footsteps that appear in untouched snow, of something that watches from the ice. Hunters disappear without a sound. Entire villages are abandoned overnight. The few who return are never the same. Some say it's the changing world. The elders say it's something else, something that was buried beneath the ice for centuries. And now, it's waking up. The real question is, who will be next? Yupik Legends of the Unseen. I am imagined surviving in one of the most extreme environments on Earth, where freezing winds cut like knives and the sun disappears for months sounds impossible to me. Well, for this Arctic tribe, it's just another day. Scientists have been absolutely stunned by their ability to thrive in brutal conditions that would leave most people shivering in defeat. From mind-blowing adaptations to ancient survival secrets, this tribe has left researchers scratching their heads. The Inuit are out there surviving in a place where the air can freeze your skin in seconds, where the sun disappears for months, and where your next meal depends on hunting massive sea creatures with nothing but traditional tools. These Arctic survivors have defied what we thought humans were capable of, and scientists are absolutely baffled. Ever heard of the saying, "You are what you eat"? Well, if that were true for the Inuit, they'd be made of raw meat and blubber. Science says their diet should be killing them. We're talking about a near-exclusive intake of fatty whale, seal, and fish with barely any vegetables or fruits in sight. By all logic, that much animal fat should send cholesterol levels through the roof and cause heart disease. But guess what? The Inuit have some of the healthiest hearts on the planet. Their secret? A genetic adaptation that helps their bodies process fats differently. That's right, evolution might have handed them a cheat code for survival in one of the most extreme environments on Earth. Ever stepped outside in freezing temperatures and felt your fingers go numb? This tribe is surviving in sub-zero conditions with minimal clothing. The Inuit don't just survive the cold, they thrive in it. Scientists have discovered that their bodies generate heat differently from most humans. Their metabolism is turbocharged, allowing them to stay warm even when the temperature dips to deadly levels. And their bodies are literally shaped for survival. Shorter limbs and stockier builds help them conserve heat. It's almost as if they were engineered for the Arctic, making researchers wonder just how deep these adaptations go. You've probably heard that the Inuit have dozens of words for snow, right? Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg, pun intended. Their language, Inuktitut, actually shapes how they see the world. Studies suggest that speakers of Inuktitut process time and space differently because of how their grammar works. For example, their concept of direction isn't based on left and right like in English, but on absolute terms like north and south. This means that an Inuit elder could be blindfolded, spun in circles, and still point north without hesitation. Scientists still don't fully understand how this works, but one thing is clear: the Inuit have a connection to their environment that goes beyond what we thought was possible. So, are the Inuit living proof that humans can evolve to master any environment, or are they holding on to ancient knowledge that modern science has yet to understand? Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more mind-blowing discoveries. The Inuit might have adapted to the harshest conditions on Earth, but their story isn't the only one that has left scientists speechless. The cargo cults are yet another mystery. Sometimes, human belief takes an even stranger turn. This is a group of people witnessing technology so advanced that it might as well be magic. Now, what if they started worshipping it? Well, that's exactly what happened in the Pacific during World War II, leading to the birth of something absolutely surreal: the cargo cults. Here's how the story goes. These folks had lived their entire lives on an isolated island with no cities, no electricity, no modern tools, just the land and the sea. Then, out of nowhere, massive metal birds descended from the sky, dropping mysterious objects filled with food, clothing, and weapons. Sounds like something out of mythology, right? That's exactly how it felt for some Melanesian Aborigines when US military forces set up bases on their islands during World War II. These cargo drops weren't just supplies, they were miracles. And the people receiving them? They weren't just humans. To the tribes, they were divine beings. Now, here's where things get even stranger. The tribes quickly noticed a pattern: the Americans always received the cargo. So, they did what any devoted followers would do: they started copying them. The Melanesians built wooden replicas of watchtowers, runways, and even airplanes, hoping to summon the cargo from the sky. They marched in formations, mimicked military drills, and even painted USA on their bodies, believing it was some kind of sacred symbol. But there was one small problem: no matter how much they imitated the soldiers, the cargo never returned. When the war ended, the US military packed up and left, taking their supplies and their miracles with them. But for the tribes, this wasn't just an army leaving, it was their gods abandoning them. Some even believed the soldiers had stolen their deities, taking the cargo back to another world. Desperate to reconnect, they continued performing their rituals, waiting for the sky to open up once more. But the parachutes never came back. While modern anthropologists now use the term cargo cult to describe blind imitation, for the people who lived it, this was no metaphor. It was a reality they couldn't escape. The Melanesians weren't the only group to leave researchers stunned. Deep in the jungles of northeast India, the Noga tribe has a history so intense that it's almost hard to believe. These are the Noga people, a collection of over 40 tribes spread across the border between India and Myanmar. But while they might seem like just another indigenous group living off the land, their past reveals something much darker, something that has fascinated and terrified outsiders for centuries. From ancient times to the present, the Noga have relied on hunting and agriculture to survive. But their hunters weren't just skilled, they were legendary. Stories tell of Noga warriors fighting tigers with their bare hands, a feat that cemented their status as some of the fiercest fighters in the region. Beyond their reputation in battle, the Noga are also highly skilled artisans. Excelling in pottery and blacksmithing, despite their warrior culture, their society wasn't entirely ruled by men. While men held authority, women weren't treated as servants. They had their own rights and responsibilities, particularly in managing households and raising children. One of the most fascinating customs in Noga families is their inheritance system. When the eldest son marries, the family home is passed down to him, while the parents move out and build a new house for themselves. For the most part, the Noga seem to lead quiet, self-sufficient lives. But this is where things take a shocking turn. Up until nearly the end of the 20th century, the Noga were infamous for one of the most brutal traditions ever recorded: head hunting. This wasn't just about warfare. Taking an enemy's head was a rite of passage, a way to gain status and honor in the community. The more heads a warrior collected, the more respect he earned, and his body was often covered in tattoos to show off his victories. These gruesome trophies were a symbol of power, a tradition so deeply ingrained that it persisted for centuries. As time went on, the world around them changed, and the practice of head hunting was eventually outlawed. But the stories of the Noga warriors still live on, haunting the dense jungles where they once fought and conquered. The Noga might have left their violent past behind, but deep in the mountains of Papua New Guinea, the Yoli tribe has captured the world's curiosity. Isolated from modern civilization, the Yoli people live in the rugged highlands, far from the influence of technology and globalization. For decades, they remained a mystery until one British explorer risked everything to meet them. What he found was unlike anything he had ever encountered before. And the story doesn't end there. Across the world, from the frozen wilderness of Siberia to the blazing plains of Africa, indigenous groups have defied the odds, surviving in extreme conditions while preserving their ancient traditions. Whether through genetic adaptations, spiritual practices, or sheer resilience, these tribes continue to challenge what we think we know about human survival and evolution. Outsiders entering their territories, however, face a wall of secrecy. Their rituals remain largely unknown, and much of their culture is a mystery. What is widely known, though, is their striking approach to personal adornment. Body modifications, intricate scars, floral patterns, and herbal decorations are a key part of their identity. Among the most distinctive traditions is the practice of wearing large clay lip plates, particularly among Surma women. These plates, sometimes reaching astonishing sizes, symbolize beauty and social status. The process involves knocking out the lower front teeth, creating an opening in the lip, and gradually increasing the plate size over time. According to tradition, the larger the plate, the higher the woman's perceived beauty and the greater the dowry her father receives in cattle. While this may seem extreme to outsiders, Surma women take great pride in this tradition, viewing their bodies as canvases for artistic expression. To them, each scar, painting, and lip plate is not just decoration, it is a symbol of identity, resilience, and cultural pride. Moving from the Surma to their neighbors, the Mersey tribe of Ethiopia continues the striking tradition of lip plates, but with an added edge. The Mersey tribe of Ethiopia is unlike any other, and their traditions leave outsiders both fascinated and intimidated. One of their most striking customs is the use of enormous clay lip plates worn by women as a symbol of beauty and status. These discs can reach astonishing sizes, stretching the lower lip far beyond what most people would believe possible. To the Mersey, the larger the plate, the greater the prestige and the more desirable a woman becomes. But make no mistake, the Mersey are not just known for their bold fashion choices. In this remote and rugged region, survival depends on strength, and the Mersey have made sure they are well equipped. Unlike many other indigenous groups, they are heavily armed, often seen carrying AK-47s as they move through their territory. Firearms have largely replaced traditional weapons, not just for hunting but for protection. Cattle raiding is a common practice, and territorial disputes frequently erupt into violent clashes. Here, conflict is not just an unfortunate reality, it is woven into the culture, a test of power and resilience that has shaped their identity for generations. Outsiders who attempt to visit the Mersey do so at their own risk. Their reputation for aggression is no exaggeration, and they do not take kindly to uninvited guests. While some travelers and researchers have been granted access, it is always under strict conditions. The Mersey remain deeply protective of their land and traditions, wary of foreign influence and intrusion. Despite their fearsome reputation, the Mersey are not mindless warriors. Their way of life is a delicate balance of tradition and adaptation, rooted in a deep respect for their ancestors and a relentless determination to preserve their culture. Whether through striking body modifications or unwavering defense of their territory, one thing is certain: the Mersey will not be forgotten anytime soon.